I am fascinated with the way we get our workforce in Minnesota ready for the future. And some of that innovation is really happening at places like St. Paul College. And we're so glad to have the dean with us, V.A. Barker. And a professor is with us on the phone, Jake Yernberg. The dean was able to come down here in person. I guess the professor, is too busy teaching. I think that's how it is, VA, right?
Yeah, that's true. He is in class right now.
See, you like to hear it. I asked you both, and thank you for joining us, Jake. It's nice to have you with us, and VA. Let's talk about the future of automotive workers. And a kickoff you guys just had in your EV, electric vehicle lab at St. Paul College. This, to me, seems like a really big deal, VA.
Oh, it was wonderful. Yes, we just opened the lab starting this year in January. We are starting to use it, and students are getting to see some of our hybrid vehicles and how they work and batteries. So we invited some folks in our community as well as our industry partners to come join us to kick off that lab. So we had great attendance. Our electrical students came in and saw the charging stations, and Jake and his faculty team got to explain how these cars are working. So we've got some innovative, great new equipment in that space.
Jake, talk a little bit about, the difference. Obviously, for years we've been training people how to work on a internal combustion engine. And now with the EVs and the electric vehicles, tell us how different that is for students to learn how to work on these.
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity. I think a key factor we want to hit on here is how the landscape is changing in all sorts of trades work. And one of the big buzzwords that we need to talk about is electrification. Electrification is the process of taking something that was done with a combustible fuel, like a gas engine, and turning it into an electrified process. So with automobiles, and this is true for small autos all the way up to large trucks, we're looking at high voltage being introduced into the automobile. And what this looks like is anywhere up to 900 volts DC, which is extremely, can be extremely dangerous, although I don't want anybody to ever be scared to work on one of these vehicles.
Sure.
Your viewers may be surprised to know that there have been 0 recorded deaths from someone working on a hybrid or electric vehicle high voltage system. These systems are really safe. And so what we want to do is make sure that people are comfortable working on these, that they're confident working on these. And we are having to upskill and retrain the student and automotive technicians to be confident working with what we call their high voltage brain. Low voltage in a common automobile is around 12 to 14 volts. Like I said, we're talking up to 900 volts, which can be really dangerous. And we just have to be aware of what the safety precautions are. And we also have to retrain, to become high voltage technicians and know a lot about electric motors. And then also we have to upskill our heating and cooling knowledge, because most of these vehicles that are electrified are using high voltage to
totally
heat
different.
and cool the cars. Yeah, which is totally different. So there's a lot of new skills beyond, just going from an oil change in an internal combustion vehicle to, a battery swap that we have to teach and train and kind of recalibrate, as well as all of your advanced driver safety systems, your autonomous braking and radar cruise control and things like that are becoming very popular.
We want all the stuff, Jake. I need every safety thing in the world. And the reality is, if you're in an EV, you, I think, as a driver, have a sense that you're in a rolling computer. Whereas a lot of us, if you're in a regular gas, maybe a gas-powered internal combustion engine, you don't think about the fact, but you also are more and more in a rolling computer, which is pretty interesting. Jake Yernberg is an automotive professor at St. Paul College. V.A. Baker is with us in studio. She is the Dean of Trade and Tech Education at St. Paul College. V.A., when you look at sort of the future of St. Paul College, of education in the trades, of making sure that we're providing a pathway for young people that maybe either have a passion or a traditional 2 or 4, not a 2-year, but a 4-year college is not for them. What level of interest is there in sort of this, like, the I don't want to say higher tech. I don't know if that's right, but the electrification, the fact that, we're seeing this in solar, in renewable energy, and of course in the vehicles.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say this is an amazing time to get into trade and tech education. If you look at our new electric vehicle and hybrid vehicle lab, there's charging stations in there, and Minnesota, as well as across the country, is really in need of a lot of charging and high-speed chargers. We also, in our electrical program...
So you need installers.
We need
people
installers.
Who can fix
we need
them.
energy auditors. We need people to fix it. Also, we are exploring in our electrician program the idea of solar, potentially getting into wind, and the whole microgrid. Everybody really has more of a microgrid philosophy of how we run our houses, our commercial, our residential. And with St. Paul College, we actually are kicking off the North Star Promise in the fall, which is really free community college for those who qualify. So now is the time.
Amazing.
It is
amazing.
Absolutely awesome. So now is the time, and you can get your education in anywhere as short as 2 semesters. Also in the carpentry space, in the cabinet making space, green materials, green building, new different ways to build. I mean, it is all over trade and tech, and it is a very, very exciting time for innovation in these industries.
That's V.A. Barber, the dean at St. Paul College. Jake Yernberg is with us as well, an automotive instructor. Jake, what kind of cars do the students get to play with there in the hybrid and the electrical area?
Oh, that's a great question. Right now, in our hybrid and electric fleet, we have several variations on the Toyota Prius, which is the most common hybrid vehicle out there. And then we also have a Chevy Volt, which is an electric vehicle with a range-extending gasoline engine. We are focusing on adding to our fleet in the coming months some fully electrified vehicles like a Chevy Bolt with a B.
Yep.
And we're also actively looking at partnerships with different manufacturers who can keep us equipped with updated vehicles and equipment. We will be relying heavily on our partners to help us have the most current technology and get that in front of our students.
This has got to be fun stuff, Jake. I mean, obviously, the internal combustion engine and automotive design and engineering has always been changing, and we've seen much more computer components, many more computer components on cars. But this is like a total for you. Is this fun, or do you hate it?
You know what? I mean, I love it. It's a wild ride.
So different from how you started, right?
Oh, absolutely. I started as a young teenager working on carbureted vehicles. And this is just kind of an invigorating process that we're going through, and it's a upheaval and a makeover and a redo of like our entire industry, But from the other perspective, like ICE cars aren't going anywhere. We're still seeing record repair numbers from your dealerships and your local shops working and repairing internal combustion engines. So we really have like a mixture of new technology and current technology that is infiltrating our shop. So we have to not only know the same stuff we knew yesterday, but we also have to now learn an entirely new process.
Especially in Minnesota.
It's a big deal.
Especially in Minnesota, right, VA? Because the reality is we're not California. We're not going to have, 50 or 60% adoption of hybrid or electric, at least for a while. So you're going to be trained in how to do it both ways.
I would say absolutely. And also the state of Minnesota by the year 2030 wants to have 20% of their light duty vehicles be electric vehicles.
Yeah.
And we are seeing this everywhere. And I would say for a small state, we pack a big punch. So I think there is opportunity for grants and us to really grow and upskill our workforce, as well as get high school students interested in this. I mean, it is engineering, it is automation, it is fun. And so I think there's real opportunity in the state of Minnesota and a lot of good investment here to grow these programs.
Well, I know you guys are always innovating and doing so many good things for the students at St. Paul College. One of the few culinary schools still around. So you guys are, when you look at some of the areas that most of us interact with all the time, most of us drive. Most of us go to restaurants, and the future workforce is all coming out of St. Paul College.
Well, thank you. We love it. We love what we do. Check us out, stpaul.edu, and come see what we have to offer.
VA, thank you. Jake, it was so nice of you to take some time out while working today. I really appreciate it. Thanks for being with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Tell your kids, this is a great option, great career, and they're really doing terrific work. All of our community colleges are throughout the state, but St. Paul College, I've taken a special interest in the way they're innovating over there. So good stuff. Thanks, VA.
Thank you.
3:49, back in just a minute here on Drive Time.